Hi, this is Ginger from My Sister Scrapper. Today I'm going to share the tutorial with you on how I created my Graphic 45 Safari Adventure Trifold project. This is similar to the one that I did with the Bow Bunny Believe paper, so if you've been waiting for that tutorial, this is the one you want to watch. I will share with you in the tutorial, I'm not going to decorate everything, but I will share with you how I made the stacked pockets, how I did the accordion, or the side pocket right here, as well as wrapping the chipboard and the measurements and all that stuff. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Again, this was using the Graphic 45 Safari Adventure Collection. So what you're going to need first is you're going to need your chipboard pieces, and I use medium weight chipboard. I get it from Amazon. It's the graphics. I buy it in sheets of 25, 12 by 12 sheets. So you're going to need 3 pieces of chipboard. So you have a front, a center, and another front. And these are going to measure 6 by 9 inches. Okay, so you need 3 that are 6 by 9. Then for your spine pieces, these are going to be 1 inch by 9 inches. So again, you're going to need 2 of those. And then we're going to wrap our chipboard. And to wrap our chipboard, I like to use 1 inch all the way around to wrap my chipboard. And so I took 2 pieces of 12 by 12 and I trimmed them down so they are 11 by 12. So we're going to take 2 of these pieces that are 11 inches by 12 and we're going to attach them together, and then we're going to wrap our chipboard. Okay, so the first thing I like to do, let me move the scoreboard out of the way, is I'm going to grab my score tape. You can use score tape, you can use wet glue, whatever your preference is. Again, I firmly believe that adhesive is a personal choice. You use what works best for you. I like score tape, and I'm going to overlap my pages by just 1/4 of an inch. I am using a craft cardstock so you can see it a little bit better. So I just take my score tape and I'm going to run it along one side here. And I'm going to burnish my tape really well. Pull the backing off. And then I'm going to go ahead and overlap my paper. Just like that. Okay. So now what I like to do is, again, I want a straight little line here. You can do this several ways. This is just the way that I like to do it. I like to take my scoreboard and get my large piece of paper here and put it in here, and I'm going to score 1 inch on a short side and then 1 inch on a long side. And again, this is just so I have a guideline to line up my chipboard to keep it straight. Now, as you can see, obviously my scoreboard is not long enough, so I will just flip it around and do it the other way on the other end. Okay? And again, the score line is just strictly a guideline. So then I flip it over like this. I'm going to go ahead and get my tape out again. Or you can use wet glue, you can use whatever you prefer. And the way it's going to work is we're going to take our pieces of chipboard. We're going to line up our front cover here, line it up with the corner, and then we're going to have 1 inch here. I'm going to leave a space, at least 2 widths of your chipboard, 1/8 of an inch. You can make a little shim if you want and do it that way. And then we're going to add our center back piece, again leaving a space, my other spine piece, and then this last one. And I will trim this off when I get it all laid out, after I get it glued down, so I have an even 1 inch from here and 1 inch from here. Okay, now again, this is what it's going to look like. You're going to have your cover leave a little space, your spine piece, leave another space, your center back, leave a space, your other spine, and then your other side cover that's going to fold over. Okay, so now I'm going to take my score tape. I'm going to add adhesive to the back of all of my pieces of chipboard, and then I'm going to go ahead and stick it down. Okay, so again, we got our tape on, and for those of you who are going to want to ask, this is a little cutter that was, I bought some washi tape from Little B, and all their washi tape packages have this little, like a Scotch tape cutter, like a little cutter, and it works great for your wide score tape because it doesn't tear as easily as the 1/4 inch, as you can see. So I just save those little things and use it for my score tape. It worked out great. So go ahead and burnish your tape, and then we'll take the backing off and we will stick it down. I like to fill in the center with my ATG pen, just so I know it's going to stick down. No, and not get an air bubble in there. So again, this is our first piece, and we've got where our 2 score lines intersect. We've got, again, these are just a guideline. We're going to take that corner of our chipboard and we're going to line it right up there. And make sure it's lined up at the bottom and stick it down. I'm going to take this piece next, which is one of our spine pieces. Again, we're going to leave a space. Now you can make a shim if you want. You can use your ruler like this if you want. I'm just going to eyeball it. And again, leaving a space, I'm going to line this piece up along the bottom edge. And stick it down. Next, we need to add another spine piece. Leave another space. And then our last piece. Leaving a space and stick it down. So there you go. Now we have all of our chipboard stuck to our cardstock. And I'm going to flip it over and just burnish it really well. So now what I want to do is we're going to go ahead and fold over our cardstock, and we're going to wrap our chipboard. But the first thing I want to do is I want to take my bone folder and I just want to go along the top edge and the side edge where I didn't originally score, just to break up the fibers in the paper, to train it to go over there. And then before I wrap my chipboard, I want to trim this edge off. You don't have to. It makes a little bit, your corners look a little bit nicer if you have even space all the way around. So this was 1 inch, so I'm going to trim this off to be 1 inch. And I'm just going to mark it with a pencil and then use my scissors to cut it. So now I'm just going to go ahead and start trimming my paper. I like to do the long edges first. And then the short sides. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to add our adhesive to the perimeter of our score tape. And I like to, if you're using a wide tape, that's fine. I like to use, I do have the 1 inch, but I'm going to go ahead and use 2 strips and do one here and one here on the perimeter of my chipboard. I like to put my tape on before I trim my corners, just because that way I know I get full coverage from corner to corner. You don't have to, but that's just how I like to do it. You do it whatever works for you. I think I'll start at the bottom here. And I'm going to run my tape close to the edge. And I'm going to flip it around and do the other long edge. Just so I don't hit my head in the camera. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is go ahead and cut my corners. Now you can do this several ways. You can measure it so you have at least 1/8 of an inch. You can draw a line with your pencil and then cut it with your scissors. Or you can use, they have what's called a perfect trim ruler, which will mark it for you. I just eyeball it because I've done this so many times. So I'm just going to go ahead and trim my corners so it looks like this. I'm going to do that, and I've left just enough to wrap my chipboard. So I'm going to do that to all my corners. Again, you can mark this with a pencil if you want. Now we are ready to wrap our chipboard. I'm going to run one more piece of adhesive all along the perimeter of my chipboard, going inside my spaces. Okay, so go ahead and take the tape backing off, and again I like to do the long sides first. And I like to start in the middle and just press it down. Okay, I'm going to flip it around and do the other side. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do the sides. Again, take the backing off of your tape. And you're just going to fold those corners down. I just use my fingernail and then fold them over. And we'll do the other side. how snug. We'll see. Nope. Got it. Okay. So now we have our cover for our trifold. So the way it's going to work, go ahead and take your bone folder and just start folding in. This one's the front. Here's the center back. So it's going to fold like this, and then this one's going to fold over, and that's going to be our cover. Okay, perfect. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and set that aside, and we're going to make the 2 hinges that go here, and we're going to make the 2 pages. Okay, so I got my scoreboard out. And for the hinges, you're going to need 2 pieces that measure 4 by 8.5. And I made my hinges, my pages are going to be a little bit smaller than my covers. We only need 1 hinge, so that's kind of nice. Really easy. I'm going to go ahead and start at 1.5 and score. You can score 2. And then I'm going to store at 2.5. Okay, so do that to the other piece. Again, we're going to score 1.5, 2, and 2.5. Because we need a hinge for both sides. So we're going to put that away for now. Go ahead, and I like to fold on the center score line of each one of those. And then we're going to add our adhesive. Again, we're just making 1 hinge because we're only going to have 1 page on each side. So I'm going to add my 3/8 of an inch score tape to both of these hinges. Make sure your score tape's in the middle of your scoring lines. Okay. Take the backing off, fold it over, and now you're going to fold this one back and this one back. So it should look like this. So that's your hinge. Okay. So let's do the same thing to this one. Go ahead and take the backing off of our tape, fold it over on our original score line. Then I like to fold one back and then fold my hinge back. Okay. Okay. So those are our hinges. Oh, it looks a little wonky. So let's get our cover back, and we're going to put our hinges right here. We're going to put one here on this spine piece, and we're going to center this one on the other spine piece. Now you're going to want to center it left and right and top and bottom. If you want, you can eyeball it first. Make sure your hinge is in the middle of your spine, and then just mark it with a pencil. That way you know where to put it. And you can erase your pencil lines. Nobody will see them. So I'm going to go ahead and, so I don't put my head in the camera, make sure that looks pretty good. Okay, and we'll do the same with this one. Now we're going to go ahead and add our score tape to both sides of our hinge, and then we're going to add our adhesive on the back of our hinge piece. So just go ahead and put your tape on both sides of your hinge, but don't take the backing off because we won't do that till we add our page. right, I'm going to add my adhesive to the back. I'm going to use this really fat stuff. And I'm going to add another little strip here. Now we're going to go ahead and remove the backing off of our first hinge. I'm going to apply it to this spine piece. I'm going to use my lines as a guide. Now we're going to add our other one to the other side. I don't really care about those pencil lines. Nobody's going to see them. Okay, so now we have our hinge. And we're going to go ahead and fold our covers again, because we got to find those spaces, because we've added more paper. Okay, and that's the other one. Make sure you're really careful here and you're not using a sharp object, because you will poke a hole in your paper. How do I know? Because I've done that before. Yay! Okay, so there's our cover with our hinges. Super cute. So our pages are going to go right on this hinge, and we're going to make our pages next. So put our cover aside and grab your scoreboard again. To make the pages, you're going to need two pieces that are 8 3/4 by 12 to make both pages. So you need one sheet for each page. So 8 3/4 by 12. And then for the two pockets, and again, we're making, just so you have a reference, we're making these pages right here, and we're going to make this pocket, and we're making this page. So your pocket piece that you're going to need, it's going to be 4 inches by 6 3/4, and you need 2 of those, one for each page. Okay, so go ahead and get your piece that measures 8 3/4 by 12. Put it in your scoreboard, and you're going to score at 5 3. What are we going to score at? 5 3/4 and 11 1/2, I think. Yep, 5 3/4 and 11 1/2. So there we go, 5 3/4 and 11 1/2. I'm kind of going over mine a little bit, a few times, because it's craft cardstock and it's kind of thick. So we've done one, now let's do the other one. Again, 5 3/4. And 11 1/2. Okay. so now we're going to score our 2 pockets, and they're pretty simple. What you're going to do on those is you're going to put them in your scoreboard. Again, these measure 4 inches by 6 3/4, so 4 by 6 3/4, and we're going to score 1/2 inch on 3 sides. So 1/2 inch on one short side, and 1/2 inch on the long side, and then another 1/2 inch on the other short side. Okay, so again, put it in here, and you're going to score 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch, which it's 4. I'm scoring at 3 1/2, so that gives me my 1/2 inch, and then back at 1/2 inch. Okay, so now those are our 2 pockets for our pages. So we're done with our scoreboard, and let's go ahead and fold on our score lines. And now let's fold our pages. Again, we're going to fold them in half. And fold on that tab. Okay, so just like this. Let's fold the other one. So those are our 2 pages. Okay, so now the way I did it in this book is I wanted, when I opened my book and I had the full spread here, I wanted this to be one long continuous piece. So I wanted my pockets to be on this, like facing the pocket, facing the outside cover. So now you don't have to do that. That's just how I did it in the book. So you just need to make sure, if that's how you want yours, that you have your pages, your opening on the left side and then your pocket on the top. And on this one, your opening would be on the right side with your pocket on the top. Okay, and I'll show you what I mean in just a minute here. Okay, so what we want to do is we're going to go ahead and take our pocket piece. We're going to add score tape to all 3 sides. The way we're going to do this, because we need to close up the bottom of our page, but we want to keep this side open, and I have a hinge here because I want to make sure that I get, when I put it on my hinge, I still get this 1/2 inch back. So again, I've got one opening to the left right here, so my pocket's going to go in the front, and then on this piece my opening is going to be on the right and my pocket's going to be on the front, so that way the folded edges are facing each other. Okay, so what we want to do first is we want to take our scissors, and we're going to go ahead and miter the corners of these. Okay, now you can miter the top ones if you want. It's not necessary because our design paper is going to cover that up, but you can if you want. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to pull the backing off first. We're going to have our page like this. We're going to open it up, and we're going to put this page, I think I'm going to turn it this way, open it up. We're going to seal up the bottom here. So what we're going to do is we're going to line this up right on the edge of the bottom of our page. Make sure it's even. Stick it down. We're going to fold it over, and then we're going to put this on top like this. This will close up our bottom of our page. Brilliant. Oh, okay. So we're going to go ahead and stick that down. Just like that. Cuteness, huh? I'm going to go ahead and angle this so I can get it tucked back in there. Okay. So that's our page. So we have our pocket right here, and this is our opening that's going to go on our hinge that's going to face the front cover. Okay, now we're going to do this one. We want to do this one opposite. So we want to put this one with our opening on the right hand side We want to put our pocket on top that way. So again, add your score tape to your flaps, hinges, or whatever you want to call them. Again, my opening is right here. I'm going to turn it this way so it's easier for me to see. And I'm going to go ahead and line up my bottom pieces. Stick it in. Fold this over. I'm going to trim that corner because it's bugging me right now. Fold this down, and we're going to take the backing off the sides, and fold it up, and make our pocket. Cuteness. Okay, so now we have our pocket on this side, and our pocket on this side. Hopefully you can see that. I got craft on craft. Okay, but our openings are on opposite edges. So the folded edges are basically together, okay? And that's how I did them in the Safari book. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we are going to put our pages in our book. So we've got our tape already on. Now you can go ahead and mat your pages first if you want before you stick them in here, but for the sake of the tutorial, I'm just going to go ahead and do it right now. First thing I like to do is I want to make sure my hinges are going to fit. They should, because they're almost a ½ inch smaller. So again, I want the pocket on the, with the opening on the left, it's going to go on the first hinge. So take the backing off your score tape. Okay, and you want to make sure that hinge is folded in because that hinge is going to attach to this side. That way we get that extra ½ inch back when we stick our photo mat in there. Okay, there's the first one. Now we're going to do this one. There's our other page. So now when you open it up like this, you can make this like a large layout if you want, which is how I did it in the other book. So our pocket's here, and this is our back, and then this is our front. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I made the stacked pockets, which is really simple. On this back inside cover, I'm going to show you how I made this little stacked pocket mechanism, and then I'll show you real quick how I did this, which I think we've done this before, but I'll show you that as well. So we're going to do the stacked pockets first. Get your scoreboard out. So you're going to need one piece that measures 6 inches by 3.5, and then you're going to need 2 pieces that measure 6 inches by 2 inches, and you need 2 of those. Okay, so what you're going to do on the 2 small pieces, you're going to take them and put them so the 6 inches are across the top, and you're going to score a ½ inch on both of the short sides. So I scored it at 5.5 and then flipped it around and scored it at 5.5 again. So that gave me my 2 ½ inch edges. Do that to the second piece. 5.5 right here, so ½ inch on both short edges. And on the other piece, that's 3.5 by 6. We're going to score it on 3 sides, like we did the other, the pockets for the pages. So again, a ½ inch here, flip it around, ½ inch here, flip it around, and another ½ inch. Okay. Fold in your score lines. So now what we're going to do is add our score tape. Okay. Yes. All right. Again, adding the score tape to our flaps. Okay, again, we're going to go ahead and angle our corners. And I like to angle these at the top because this is a stacked pocket. We want to make sure they're not going to show on our cover. Cover out here. So what you want to do is we're going to put our stacked pocket on our back piece right here. You're going to want to put your design paper on first. Real quick, put that down. This paper is from Echo Park. It's their Magical Adventure paper collection, which is theme park. You know what I mean? The mouse, Mickey, Disney. Even though they can't say Disney because it's not Disney paper, but anyway, that's what it reminds me of. But it's called Magical Adventure. Okay, so you put your design paper down first, and then you're going to take your stacked pockets and you're going to work from the bottom up. So you're going to take your bottom one down first, and I like to lay them out so I know how far down I want them. I tried to leave this even border on both sides and the bottom, and then these are going to just sit right on top like this. Okay, so put your bottom one on first. Take the backing off, and you can mat these before you put them down, it doesn't matter, but you do have to have that paper down before you put these pockets on. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and stick the bottom one down first, and then these are going to go right here, and they're just going to be lined up. Make sure they're even side to side, and it just goes right on top. Not on top, but, you know, butted up against it. Okay, and then the last one. And there you go. See, that's the stacked pocket. So then you can have a large photo mat, a medium photo mat, and a small photo mat, and they will stack right in there just like this. Okay, and the measurements for these are, the large one is 4.5 by 7.5, the medium is 4.5 by 6, and the small one is 4.5 by 4. So that's how we did this. And then on this cover here, I made a diagonal pocket, and I'll show you real quick how I did that. To make that pocket, you're going to need a piece that measures 6.5 by 5. Again, this piece measures 6.5 by 5. So with the 5 inches across the top, you're going to score at 1/2 inch. And then you're going to rotate it, and you're going to score it at 6 inches. Okay? Now, fold on your score lines. Now, to make the inside front pocket, what I did was I took my ruler and a pencil, and I measured 2 inches along the top, and I made a mark with my pencil. So again, I've got the fold on the left and the fold on the bottom. Okay, so fold it in and mark 2 inches. And then I went ahead and measured from the bottom up 3 inches and made a mark. And again, it's from the folded line. Okay, and made a mark. Now Now you can do it however you want. This is just what I thought looked the best. And then go ahead and put it in your paper trimmer, and you're going to just cut from this point to this point. And you're going to cut that off. I'm just going to use my scissors for the sake of the video. Okay. So there you have it. Then go ahead and put your score tape on your flaps. And again, I angled these because I put my pocket on top of my design paper. So again, what you want to do is you'll put put your design paper on first, and then you'll go ahead and take your backing off, and you'll stick your pocket down just like this. And you can put it however you want. That's just how I opted to do it. Okay. So there you go. That's how I created my Trifold Folio. And then for this closure right here, I just used one of the Tim Holtz loops. They're called elastic loops, and you get 10 in a pack. And I just used my crocodile, poked a hole, threaded it through, and that was it. And that was my closure. How cute is that? Okay. So there you go, everybody. That is how I created the Trifold Folio. There you have it. Thanks for watching.